Todd says, hey, what is your latest strategy for using Web 2s? We ordered the ones you recommend from Amazon Legiit. Now we're interested in the best way to leverage these sites. Thanks. So a couple of things. One, put them in same as attributes in local business schema, right? So you reference those in same as attributes, local business schema. Number two is you can build links to them with relevance, preferably topical and or geographic relevance. Number three is you put them into a G sheet. I teach this in ID page training, right? Put them into a Google sheet. So put like keywords in column A, URLs in column B, and in column C, you concatenate, right? You can do a simple formula where you combine column A with the URLs in column B to make anchor text links in column C. So keywords that are relevant to your industry or the business that you're, whatever, the project you're working on. So that you then, and now you've got in column C, you've now got hyperlinked keywords that are linking to the branded and supporting assets that you're talking about. Then you publish that G sheet, get the embed code, and then put that into an ID page, right? And then the ID page you publish and publish the ID page, and then you designate that ID page URL in the add ID field of the local business schema. Then resubmit that page that you have the local business schema inserted into, that page URL, resubmit that to Search Console to force Google to recognize the new ID page, right? Because then the Google bot goes, remember guys, not remember, a lot of you don't know this, but the ID page, the add ID field in structured data is for a unique resource identifier, a URI, that tells the search engine bots to follow that resource to that resource where it can then corroborate or validate location information for that specific local business. That's what the ID page is, the ID designation is supposed to be for. Most SEOs have no idea, and they just put the URL that the local business schema is inserted into in the ID field. Maybe they'll put the hashtag or pound symbol ID at the end of the URL, but that does nothing for the search engine bots. That does nothing. It's wasted. Like it's just a waste. It's a lost opportunity because the ID is supposed to be URI, unique resource identifier, that tells the search engine bots you can follow to this resource where you can corroborate or validate location information for this specific local business. So use that, manipulate. It's our opportunity to partially control how Google develops the knowledge graph for that specific local brand, that local business, right? If we tell that it's guys, I say this in every single audit. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, right? You buy a puzzle, you can see on the box what that image is supposed to be. But when you dump the puzzle out onto a table, it's a bunch of scattered pieces that you have no idea what that image, if you didn't have the box, you wouldn't know what that image looks like, right? But as you start to organize those pieces and fit them together, an image starts to emerge. The more pieces you fit together from that puzzle, the sharper that image becomes, right? It's the exact same process with Google and how it develops a knowledge graph for a local business. It starts with this vague understanding of who the business is, what they do, and where they do it. And it tries to create a sharper understanding, a clearer understanding of who the business is, what they do, and where they do it by finding corroborating evidence. What is that? URLs online, pages online that mention who the business is, what they do, and where they do it. And it starts to assemble those scattered bits of data into an organized fashion, which becomes the knowledge graph for that local business. And so if we can assist in developing that knowledge graph by helping Google to very quickly organize and fit those scattered bits of data together to create a clearer or sharper image of that business and who they are and what they do, right? Then that is our way of helping Google to have a better understanding of that business, which it will reward in search when done properly, as long as other factors like on-page and everything else are proper too. And so with Web 2s, guys, it's not enough to just have them. So many people get things like those gigs, and then they never do anything with them. Well, then you're leaving it up to Google to discover, which is very slow on its own, and start putting those pieces together. Why don't we help Google put that puzzle together much quicker? We should be doing that. And that's what Schema, using same as attributes and some of the other things that we do in Schema, like knows about and mentions and area served and all that, guys, Schema is code to tell, especially local business schema, to tell Google who the business is, what they do, and where they do it. right? So use Schema, use ID page with a dedicated ID page where you consolidate, collect all that information that references the business, name, address, phone number, website with accurate information. You do not want to reinforce bad information, but collect all the page URLs that you can find on the web that have accurate information published about that business, put it into an ID page, concatenate them into a G sheet, which is embedded into the ID page. Then you designate that ID page in the add ID field and then build links to that son of a bitch, right? That's going to cause Google to recognize that much quicker. And so that's Web 2.0s are fantastic for that because they're high authority, high domain authority properties, which I typically don't give a damn about, but in some cases it's relevant. And then interlinking them, building links to them, but then assisting with discoverability so Google finds them. All of that is going to make it more valuable. There is a method to our madness. When I do video or audits for clients, the first component, the first section, there's 4 sections, and the first one is entity analysis because, I cover that, assisting with our brand search. We do brand search supporting assets, like we look to see how do you know your local business entity or a local business entity is well established and Google has a good understanding of it. Do a brand search. Look at the top results. What the metric that I use is out of the top 20 results. So the first 2 pages, if Google is displaying pages, if it's endless scroll, I want to see 80% or more of the top 20 results. So 16 or greater of the top 20 results should be branded and supporting assets that are explicitly referencing that particular business location. If you don't see 80% or greater out of the top 20 results that are in the search results for a brand search that explicitly mention that particular location, that means there's some pollution occurring, some ambiguation occurring. The entity is not established enough in Google. The knowledge graph is not clear enough. The image is not sharp enough. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's about helping Google to have a better understanding of who the business is, what they do, and where they do it. And one of the ways we can do that is by strengthening the entity, by assisting with discoverability, informing the knowledge graph, all of that, right? They all mean the same thing, basically. And so if you do that, that's always the tip of the spear, in my opinion. If you strengthen the entity to where Google has a good understanding of it, the knowledge graph is clear, then it makes so much the other SEO efforts easier, right? You need less backlinks, less off-page signals, everything else to achieve results. So Web 2s are perfect for that. It's a great strategy. Those are what I call non-traditional citations, right? There's traditional citations, which are business directory listings. Non-traditional citations are published mentions of name, address, phone number, website on various platforms, Web 2s, social media, image platforms like image sharing, videos, YouTube, Vimeo, all that. All of those can be non-traditional citations. So, and they should be included in every SEO campaign for local. That's all I talk about is local. So